Hi, everyone. This is Carrie. Thanks for joining in. So, today, Judge Tammi is going to be dealing with who I like to call Mr. Team Player. Now, Mr. Team Player wants to represent himself. He said pro se. You know what? You guys, it's just hilarious how these people come into court and they think they know so much, and then they turn to the judge and say, "Well, I don't. Can you explain that to me?" No, honey, you want to represent yourself. You take care of it. Anybody who has ever watched the trial from the Waukesha parade attack, Mr. Darrell Brooks, you will see. I mean, he's probably the worst narcissist on the face of the earth, but he's probably the worst one that I've ever seen. But little Junior here tries to give him a run for his money. But Judge Tammi, she's not having it. Let's get into it.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
I had a problem earlier understanding what was going on. I'm gonna put it on video now because I know originally because I'm at work and my job's being kind of let me handle this matter.
What's
You
your name?
just Demetrius Roberts. I didn't understand anything that just happened.
All right. So, Mr. Roberts, you missed a court date when they were asking to have your bond revoked. And because of that, a bench warrant was issued. So the bench warrant is still there because you were supposed to come into court.
Why do I have a bench warrant, Your Honor? I was under understanding that
if you will listen, I just told you why you have a bench warrant.
You said I do or I don't?
You do. I just told you why. You were set. You had a hearing set for a bond revocation. When we came to court to bond revocation, you did not show up, and your attorneys had not heard from you. You did not have a legal excuse. Therefore, a bench warrant was issued. This next time you came to court, you came by video as opposed to coming into court.
Okay. Well, I did notice something that the courts have the wrong address, and I remember.
No.
Go ahead.
That's a narrative we're going to change. The courts have the address that we have for you. If you have moved or you have changed your address, then there is no way for us to know unless you tell us. And it is the defendant's responsibility to keep your address updated.
Well, that's what I was trying to explain, Your Honor. That address was an address 25 years ago, so I don't even know how that's even possible. See, I think you guys got 6181 Harkins Court. That has been my address for like 25 years, or if not longer.
So,
I didn't have kids with that address.
When did you come in and tell us we had the wrong address?
Well, when I was arrested at the time, I'm assuming that with the information that was given that they had the correct address. There's no way I would have.
Why you assume?
Okay. I remember originally I was supposed to be in court also is what I was trying to explain. And I remember for some odd reason your court dates got canceled. So
not the one where you had a motion to revoke your bond. That one didn't get canceled.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Mr. Roberts, the other part is if you were keeping in touch with your attorneys, even if you didn't get the mail, they do.
Right. And the only way I found out about this matter is when my bail's bond been called. I mean, I have full intentions with cooperation with this matter. I would not miss a court date is what I'm saying. So I didn't intentionally try to miss a court date. I was unaware of the court date is basically what I'm saying.
Okay. So you are currently entering a plea of not guilty on all three cases. So your cases will go to trial, but you still have an outstanding motion to revoke bond for which you did not appear. Therefore, a bench warrant is still in effect.
What can I do to get the bench warrant removed, Your Honor, is what I'm trying to understand. I'm here at court. I would have just came, but from my understanding, I just started a new job, so that's why I did the Zoom. Other than that, I would have came to court today.
You and your attorney, you need to talk to your attorney and y'all can work it out.
So I still have a warrant. What can I do to resolve the warrant? I can't. I understand.
You need to talk to your attorney and y'all need to work something out.
Who is this, Your Honor? Is this our client?
No, yeah, it's Mr. White's client.
Okay.
Is my attorney still there?
Yeah, he's there. He might be outside the courtroom talking to somebody else, but he's still there.
So right now it's like I'm a fugitive. So So basically, my lawyer, I'm at the mercy of my lawyer. My lawyer is going to tell me how to handle this as far as dealing with the warrant. There's no way you can lift the warrant.
Talk to your lawyer first.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, Mr. Roberts.
I do have a question. So everything has to go through the attorney. So there's no way you can get a warrant lifted. If you miss a court date, there's no way to lift the warrant. If you have my full cooperation.
I can lift a warrant anytime I want to. What I'm telling you is you need to talk to your attorney and get this worked out because you missed a court date for a revocation of bond. That tells me that there's allegations that you did something against your bond orders. Don't talk about it. Don't tell me about it, but you need to discuss that with your attorney because I need to have a hearing about what that was about. So there's an allegation that you violated your bond conditions. And for that, the state wants to revoke your bond and put you in jail. Missed that hearing. Now you need to talk to your attorney and either work it out so we have another hearing or something else.
Okay, we have another hearing concerning the actual charge. Is that what you're speaking of, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I have to talk to my attorney to get this resolved, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
It's very hard to get in touch with him. Please can you ask him to get in contact with me, or can somebody make sure that he calls me, please?
Ms. Hahn, if you will make a note to have Mr. White contact Mr. Roberts.
Yes.
Your Honor, Mr. White is in here with me, so when he's done,
He'll call you. He's talking to the state right now. He may be working it out.
Yeah, this is very serious. So I really just understand, Your Honor. This is my freedom, and I have an employer. I don't want nobody coming up here disturbing this company or anything. Like I have my full cooperation to deal with this matter. I just want to know what I need to do to resolve this. So I'm sure you can have some compassion and understand that.
Roberts, we're gonna.
So I just want to get this taken care of, like right now, like while I have time to have it.
Mr. White is going to call you. He understands the importance. He's going to call you, but there's nothing that he can do while you're talking to the judge. So if you could just give us a moment and then he'll call you, okay?
Please, thank you. Thank you, guys.
All right. Did we have an announcement on Carpenter Dickerson?
Your Honor, we had an announcement for, I think it was Harris.
For what?
I think it was Mr. Harris.
Harris? Yeah.
Yes, Your Honor. It's going to be a plea of nolo.
Okay. Mr. Harris, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
I affirm.
All right, you can put your hand down. So, Mr. Harris, you're before the court on 2022 CR 03614 for Jamar Daniel Harris for criminal trespass. You're entering a plea of nolo. You're represented by the law firm of Lister Holton Dennis. Ms. Hahn is with you. By entering a plea of nolo, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, to subpoena witnesses, to present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of nolo or guilty could negatively affect your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
I do.
All right. Factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On August the 2nd of 2022, an officer was dispatched to 1625 Conley Road, apartment B, as in boy 19A. So a lot of numbers. 19A 123. And that where this occurred in Clayton County. It was in reference to a domestic disturbance. At that time, the victim, Miss Mary Harris, advised that she was in her bedroom, watching TV when the defendant, Mr. Harris, came into the room. He was upset about accusing her of breaking his headphones. She said she did not touch his headphones, but that he came in and punched her TV. It cracked and it hit the wall. And the officer did observe the TV, the damaged TV. And then the defendant was taken into custody. The state is recommending 12 months to serve 6 days. Credit for the time served, the balance to be probated, and for the defendant to have a mental health evaluation and follow up with any treatment plan and or medication, as well as no harassing or violent contact with the victim, Miss Mary Harris.
How's Miss Harris connected to Mr. Harris?
I don't know.
Your Honor, that is Mr. Harris's mother.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Harris, do you understand? I'm going to accept your plea of nolo. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 6 days credit for time served. The balance will be probated for you to have a mental health evaluation and any treatment that may be ordered. If you're already seeing someone for mental health medicine, go ahead and let your probation officer know that. And you're to have no violent or harassing contact with Mary Harris. Do you understand?
I do understand.
All right. So, Mr. Harris, I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Mr. Devin Carmichael. Mr. Carmichael is the probation expert, and he's going to answer any questions that you have, and he's also going to do your probation intake. All right. And once you finish speaking with Mr. Carmichael, you'll be free to go. You don't have to come back to the main room. All right.
Okay, this says join breakout room. Hit join.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. We have a hearing for Carpenter. Is that my understanding?
Yes, but Mr. White stepped out of the courtroom. There was a Mr. Lightning that was in the courtroom. I believe he's
Mr. Lightning? Yeah, bring him up. Let's deal with Mr. Lightning.
Mr. Lightning. Your Honor, I'll go get Mr. White. Just let
Okay.
him know that you're ready.
All right, Mr. Lightning, come on up.
Good
Mr.
morning.
Lightning, good morning. So, sir, you're before the court for display of license plates, no tag, expired or invalid tag, and suspended registration. It's my understanding that you wish to represent yourself. Is that true?
Yes, we talked before, Your Honor. You told me to go get the document.
Yes, sir. Do you have them?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Miss John VA, did you wish to send an investigator down to look at the documents that Mr. Lightning has?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll send investigator Pugh down.
Okay, so if you have a seat, the investigator is going to come down and look at your documents. Okay, sir?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, Dickerson, did we get close on Dickerson?
I'm still here, Your Honor. I'm just waiting to speak with Mr. White.
Oh,
I'm
you
not
haven't
really
spoken
sure
to him
what's
yet?
going.
Does he have
Last
your
I
phone
heard, he was
number?
supposed to. Yeah, he has my phone number, but he was supposed to, I think he said he was speaking with the state or
He
something like
did.
that.
He was.
Okay, yeah, and then I never, like, that was where we left off. I haven't spoken to him yet, so that's
Okay,
pretty
well,
much what I'm waiting for. But I am here though.
okay, he just finished talking with the state. He'll be back in a moment, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, did you make an announcement or was there an announcement on Thomas?
Yes, it was a not guilty.
Oh, okay.
All right. So this is what I have so far. Campbell, bench warrant bond forfeiture. Carpenter is going to be a hearing. Dickerson is, Mr. White is still got to speak with Mr. Dickerson again. Favors was a plea. Greer, not guilty. a Harris plea, Iraheta Minivar plea, Jenkins is a reset, Laguerre is a reset, Lester is, we're gonna have to do something with that. That's the one of the ones where he's at Georgia Regional. So there's two cases, or sorry, Rashida Lester. Lightning, we're working on Mr. Lightning's case now. Roberts is a not guilty on all three cases, but we do need to reset his motion to revoke. Thomas is a not guilty, and Wadley is a reset to January.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All righty. Jaquez Deshaun King. Jaquez Deshaun King. Last call for Jaquez Deshaun King. All right, I don't have him listed with an attorney. Bench warrant bond forfeiture. Next is Anthony Leonard Moore. Anthony Leonard Moore.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, y'all. I'm here.
All right, so Mr. Moore, I don't see an attorney, but you're charged with improper passing. Sir, did you wish to hear what the state wants to offer, wants to ask the court to do on that case, or did you wish to go to trial?
Yeah, I would like to get it talked to the state.
All right, Miss Janvier. Okay, there you are.
Your Honor, so he has two cases.
When is okay? Because I only see the 2021. What other case does he have?
This one is 2022 CR 03471.
Oh, I'm sorry. The Wi-Fi glitched on the last several one. You said 2022 CR
03471.
Okay, thank you. All right, and then what kind of charges is that?
It's a stop sign.
Okay, did you want to do both these cases, Mr. Moore? Because the next case is a stop sign case. The previous case is an improper passing.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Janvier.
So for the case ending in 006973 would be a $1 fine. And for the case ending in 03471, it'd also be a $100 fine.
All right. So, Mr. Moore, each of those cases, is he NOLO eligible? Do we know?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Moore, you're eligible to enter a NOLO plea. Each of those cases, it would be a $100 fine, which would be $151.50 with the surcharges. And I would give you up to 60 days to pay. So did you want to take a plea on those two cases?
Yeah.
All right. Raise your right hand for me, sir. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yeah.
All right, you can put your hand down. So, Mr. Moore, you're before the court on 2021 CR 06973, Anthony Leonard Moore, for improper passing. And you're also before the court on 2022 CR 03471 for violation of a stop sign. So, sir, you're entering a plea of NOLO on both cases to both offenses. By doing so, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or have to present any evidence or testimony against yourself. And if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. For the case ending in 06973, on May 18th of 2020, while on duty of North Main Street and Spring Street in Clayton County when the incident occurred, an officer observed a motor vehicle being operated by the defendant, Mr. Moore, crossed the double yellow line into oncoming traffic to pass a vehicle. That concludes the facts, Your Honor. Let's say it's recommending $100 fine.
All right.
Your
So
Honor,
Mr. Moore, so
Yeah.
each of the $100 fines is going to be $151.50. I'm going to give you 60 days in which to pay the fines and fees on case 2021 CR 06973, and I'll run that concurrent, meaning at the same time as the fines and fees on 2022 CR 03471. So you'll have 60 days to pay both of those. What I need you to do now is send your email address. Do you know how to use the chat function?
I believe so.
All right. So what I need you to do is don't send it to everybody, but Miss Holcomb, Miss Terrell, Taryl Holcomb, is the clerk today, and she's gonna get that information and send it back to you by email.
Okay, quick question, Your Honor. I believe I got arrested for the first charge in the 973. The
Yes.
improper turning, and I bonded out for that. That doesn't. I can't get time served for that because I bonded out for that charge, I believe.
Well, hold on, let me see. Miss John VA, did you want to?
Can I double check? But if that's the case, I don't have an issue with that. But we're gonna just double check.
Sure, no problem. She's gonna check.
Yeah, I paid like $200 something to bond out for that, and they dismissed one of when I had court a while back. They dismissed, I guess, the CBD charge because they found a 0.1 of CBD in the car, so that's why they locked me up. So I had to bond out for that, and I got out the next day.
They locking people up for CBD?
I guess they didn't know if it was marijuana or not, so I just got locked up for that.
Well, I'm sorry for that. It's gonna make folks have to reconsider their liniment and rubs and muscle creams now if you're getting locked up for CBD.
Yeah, I was doing DoorDash that morning. I remember I had made a left and got pulled over because I did make a proper turn because the train was coming, and then the officer seen the CBD in the car and just locked me up basically. And I bonded out the next day, and they dropped the CBD charge because they couldn't test it. You know what I mean? Then yeah, I'm here now.
I got you. Ms. John, VA, we got any confirmation? So, Mr. Moore, while we're doing that, did you already send your email address to Ms. Holcomb?
I'm sending it right now.
Okay, it's Taryl. So that's who you need to send it to.
So, Your Honor, I can confirm 2 days in custody, so that's fine. I will suspend the fines for both of those.
All right. Thank you so much.
To read the facts for the second one, if you want to stipulate, that's fine. Also, it wasn't on the record.
Okay, ma'am, that's fine. So, Mr. Moore, you're gonna get both of those fines will be suspended, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right, Mr. Moore, be careful out there, okay?
Yes, man, I definitely will.
All right, you're done. Thank you.
Happy holidays, guys.
You too. Mosley. Mr. Mosley should be represented by Lister Holton Dennis. It says Alfonso Kraft, but he should have Lister Holton Dennis.
Yes, Your Honor, but we don't have his contact, so I'll just need to talk with him.
All right, so Mr. Mosley, I'm gonna need you to I hope you're not driving because you're gonna need to pull over, and then you're gonna need to chat your contact information to Mr. White, Justin White, so he can talk to you and we can get this get an announcement today, okay?
Okay.
All right. So yeah, don't be driving while you're doing this. That's distracted driving. You come to court and pick up another charge. What sense would that make? Phillips?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Mr. Phillips is present. Lister Holton Dennis?
Your Honor, it is my understanding that the Mr. Phillips that is present is actually the father of my client in this case. We had apparently his email address I had told the son to also appear, but I don't currently see him.
Mr. Phillips, where's your son?
In Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, why is he in Charlotte and why couldn't he appear by video?
I don't think he has a computer. But my understanding is that his probation officer told him that his case had expired.
This is a new case. He doesn't have a probation for this case. It's still open.
I don't understand why he has to go to court.
Okay, so Mr. Frank Harrison Phillips has a 2022 driving under the influence case. I don't know what the bond is for anything because this case is still open. He hasn't been before a judge to be sentenced. He hasn't had a trial.
He served 30 days in jail. I did not post bond for him.
That does not resolve a case. That just means you couldn't bond out for pretrial detention. It doesn't mean your case is resolved.
Well, yes,
bond and a sentence are different.
Yes, but as far as information I received from him is that he spent the 30 days in jail and then he was on probation for a year. And his probation officer, who was Rebecca Chang, said that told him his case had expired and it was no longer an issue. And so therefore he went on with his life, not realizing he had any more obligations.
There's a couple of things wrong with that. First of all, that is possible, but that would have been for a different case. A 2022 case hasn't even come up for trial yet, and it's been less than a year since 2022. So if he had a 2022 case, he wouldn't have already been served 30 days in jail, been sentenced, and served a year on probation.
Yes, ma'am. So I think what you're telling me is that this is a second case.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. That's what I'm telling you. And your son needs to be here.
Well, I don't think he understands that he had a second case. As far as he was concerned, his only case was took place on November 13th, 2021.
That's not my issue because the notice to appear would have said that this is a 2022 case.
Yes, ma'am.
And I didn't excuse him.
Yes, I don't think he received that. After he got out of jail, he stayed in Jonesboro for quite some time and then went to We Are Living Proof up at Lawrenceville, and then another one in Marietta. And after that, he's moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. I don't believe he ever got any word that there was a second case. I don't know that, but that's in my talking to him, all he knew was about the first case in November of 21.
Okay, so that highlights a couple of things. First of all, he's been given notice, and we are given notice to the last available address that he provided. So if he failed to provide an updated address, that's on him. Second thing is he still has to be here. Even if it was incorrect, out of an abundance of caution, he should have come. But yeah, he's going to get a bench warrant and a bond forfeiture because he's not here.
Yes, ma'am. So I don't understand the bond forfeiture. I never put up any bond, or he didn't have it bond.
On this, it says he put up a bond. That's what I'm telling you. This is an entirely new case.
I guess I'm assuming that the court knows that I just don't believe this happened. He didn't have a car. He wasn't driving.
Mr. Phillips, I can't debate that with you, sir. Your son needed to be here for this calendar call. It's obvious that he has information that you don't have. So at this time, I'm going to issue a bench warrant bond forfeiture, and you can let him know that he needs to contact his attorney at Lister Holton Dennis.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
This Antonio. I was just trying to see.
This is Thomas.
Hold on, Mr. Florio, mute.
Nah, this Antonio. I was just trying to see.
I got you, Mr. Harris. You did what now?
I was just trying to see, cause for my little misdemeanor, I had already went to court for it like last year, and I had did time for it already. It's the charges on criminal trespassing. So like, I'm just trying to see like how can I go by like what I got to do, because they ain't really tell me now.
Your attorney is here frantic that you about to mess up your own case because you keep talking. She's gonna talk to you, Mr. Harris.
All right.
So I apologize. I'm trying to be 15 places at once. I will give you a call. I got your phone number, but just don't say anything, please. Thank you.
Judge, may I interrupt?
Yes, Mr. Phillips.
Trey Phillips his name is Frank H. Phillips. This is my son who I was talking to you about, who now lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. I
That's
have
fine.
gotten him to Zoom in onto the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
He's gonna meet with his attorney in a minute.
Thank you, ma'am.
Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. White.
Your Honor, I have an announcement in Mr. Boston's case. We're going to be announcing ready on both cases.
All right, so Mr. Boston, please keep in touch with your attorney. You'll receive notices for the next trial dates. If you don't get the notice, then that means you need to change. If you didn't get this notice, that means you need to change your address so that we have the most current address. However, if you got the notice just fine, that's where the next one will come, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Mr. Boston, make sure that you pay attention to your bond conditions. You've been instructed in your bond conditions to not have contact with a particular person or persons. Please make sure that you do not have contact with those persons. If you do, even if they contact with you, if you have contact with them, you're subjecting yourself to having your bond revoked. You could spend the remainder of that time in jail, and you could also be charged with misdemeanors or felonies. Okay, so please be mindful of that. You're free to go at this time.
Your Honor, the thing is, on the bond contact, it says that
Miss Benz.
He's taking my child now. He's taking my child and use my child against me because of this case. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Okay, Miss Benz, I don't know y'all's relationship. Are y'all married?
No, we're not. But he has illegally taken my child away from me for 3 years.
Miss Benz, then you need to go through the superior court that deals with family issues, or you need to go to jail to the police and swear out a warrant for interference with custody. If you had custody. Now, if he's an equal parent, you might have to figure something else out.
My child is not legitimized in the state of Georgia.
Okay, then you need to go to the police.
Mr. Boston, I wouldn't say anything.
Boston, Ben, stop it. I'm not here for y'all for this. Y'all see all this foolishness where you having babies with people and we're not married and we don't know what our legal status is. I'm not your attorney. What I'm telling you is if you need to go figure something out, then go to the police or go to superior court. Family law is not what I do. Y'all getting into these situations with no clue about the legal ramifications of just having a baby with somebody. Marriage, that's pretty cut and dry. You can figure that out. But when you're just having a baby with somebody, then you don't know what the legal ramifications are. You need to go to the police if you feel like he's interfered with custody. You need to go to superior court if you feel like you need to have custody and legitimation straightened out. Neither which do I do. Whew, lot. All right, so Mr. Allen, your attorney has announced you're ready for trial, so you're free to go at this time. Mr. Boston, your attorney has announced that you're ready for trial. You're free to go at this time.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
All right. Coleman, I don't know that they appeared, but because there was a waiver, but their trial calendar, you're free to go at this time.
So am I free to go, Your Honor?
Miss Benz, you can do whatever you want to. I don't control your presence here. You're a witness for the state. I told you if you have issues, contact Miss Hemphill.
What's the point of you being a judge and you have conditions over his bond, and on the bond conditions it says that he's not supposed to be around me or my children, and this man has taken my child and knowing that he's not supposed to be around my child.
Ma'am, then that's why you call the police and show them the
They
bond
don't know where he
conditions.
is to even get my son. We don't
Well,
have
ma'am,
no
I don't
address.
know where
We
he
don't have
is.
anything.
Ma'am, how would I know where he is?
This is not fair. Y'all supposed to be the justice system, and I'm the victim.
I'm not the
He took my
police, Miss
son.
Benz. Miss Benz, I'm not the police. What I do right here, sitting in a chair, looking out over the courtroom. I'm not the police. I'm not gonna go track down Mr. Boston. That's not my job.
That's all right. My attorney will be in contact. Thank you. You have a great day, Judge.
He don't need to contact me.
No, my attorney will be in contact with his attorney.
All right. Well, y'all work that out. All right. So, Hand, your Mr. Florio has announced ready for trial. You're free to go at this time if you are not already. Howell announced ready for trial. You're free to go at this time. Johnson, Darlene, that case has been no prost. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I feel for Miss Benz, but I'm just gonna make a public service announcement. Judges don't do everything. We don't do what the police do. We don't do everything. So what I was trying to explain to her is I don't deal with custody and all of those things. The only thing I do is I stop violence from happening between people. And if you have a bond condition that comes up from magistrate court, that determines that we're going to keep people apart so that there's no violence until the case is resolved. I don't get into whether somebody can see their kids or not, or legitimation, or because that's stuff that y'all already should figure out. If y'all are having children with somebody, you already know or should know the legal ramifications of it. I can't. There's nothing I can do about going to get her child from Mr. Boston. That is not my role. She can go to the police. She can go to Superior Court, but I don't control those dynamics between people. I know my role, and I'm going to stay in my lane. But what I'm not going to do is have somebody tell me that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do because they don't know how to reach their baby's father. Let me know when Miss Sonia is back and available.
Okay, Judge, she's left the courtroom. I'll let you know when she's back in. And did Miss Hahn let you know Mr. Jones was actually in the courtroom?
Yeah, Kamari Jones, yeah.
Okay.
That's Mr. White's case, so he'll have to speak with Mr. White.
All right, no problem.
Thank you.
Judge, may I interrupt again? This is Frank Phillips.
Yes, Mr. Phillips.
The reason my son didn't show up for the Zoom meeting or at your court was the message to do so was sent to me and not to him.
Well, Mr. Phillips, he has the responsibility of making sure his address is updated, sir. He's here now.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Recording in progress.
All right, Ms. Hahn, you ready on Harris?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Harris, raise your right hand for me. Unmute for me. You got, okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. Mr. Harris, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Antonio Terrell Harris, 2021 CR 07824 for criminal trespass. You're represented by attorney Chelsea Hahn with the law firm of Lister, Holt, and Dennis. Ms. Hahn is present. Ms. Hahn, what does your client plead to the offense before the court?
Nolo, Your Honor.
All right, by entering a plea of nolo, Mr. Harris, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On October 23rd of 2021, an officer was dispatched to 32 2005, Popular Point Drive in Atlanta, Georgia. The incident occurred in Clayton County. At that time, the officer made contact with the victim, Ms. Latreon, Latreon Temple, Temple, in which she advised that her and her son had gotten into an altercation, verbal altercation, because she refused to purchase him a pair of shoes. She then called over her other son to help with the son that was there that she had altercation with. And during that time, the defendant at that time, Mr. Harris, Antonio Harris, took an unknown object and used it to crack the windshield of the vehicle. And the officer observed the damage. He was taken into custody. The state is recommending 12 months to serve, 11 days, the balance to be suspended, no contact with the victim, and additionally, the victim has not requested restitution, Your Honor.
She has not?
No.
All right. Ms. Hahn? Is it credit for time served?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Hahn.
Your Honor, we just ask that you accept the state's recommendation.
All right, so Mr. Harris, how old are you, sir?
19, ma'am.
Okay, so Mr. Harris, you're grown. If there are things that you need or want, then you need to provide them for yourself. You can't get upset with your mama because she's not buying you shoes. Her obligation to buy you anything stops when you turn 18.
Yes, ma'am.
If you was out on the street, nobody would say anything to her because you grown. But see, we're raising kids nowadays to think that y'all got to still stay up under your mama and your daddy until you're in your 30s. No, sir. So you getting into an altercation for something for your mama not buying you shoes, that's just crazy to me. She don't have no obligation to buy you nothing, not even food. Where's your job?
I got a job, ma'am.
Well, then you should have been buying your own shoes. Where you living?
I stay with my uncle.
Okay, you paying rent?
Yes, ma'am.
Good, because you ought to be. I need people to grow up. I don't need people stuck up under their mamas and daddies and then causing problems in their mamas and daddy's house. Because let me tell you a little secret. You are never going to be grown up under your mama. If you living with your mama or your daddy, you're not going to be grown. Nobody's going to take you seriously as an adult. Until you get out and show that you can take care of yourself, nobody's going to take you seriously. You don't even take yourself seriously because you fighting with your mama over some shoes you should have brought yourself. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So 12 months to serve 11 days, credit for time served, balance suspended, as long as you have no contact with the victim named in this case and that you have no new violations of the laws of the state of Georgia. So for the next 12 months, you don't get to have any contact with your mom. Let's see how you do on your own with your job. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Free to go at this time. Thank you. Before this court for simple assault on the 20th day of September 2022, you were sentenced to 12 months on probation. Your sentence was told, leaving you 7 months and 14 days remaining. Says here that you violated the law, but you have the new criminal offense of giving a false name, address, date of birth, jaywalking, and obstruction of an officer September 1st, 2023. You also tested positive for alcohol, specifically the metabolites of alcohol on September 27th of 2022. You failed to report on October 15th, November 18th, December 8th of 2022. You failed to report within 10 days of January 9th of 2023. You failed to complete an alcohol and drug evaluation, and you failed to make any payments. Ms. Hahn?
Your Honor, I don't have anything on behalf of Mr. Pate, except that we ask that when probation gives the recommendation that you accept it.
All right, Mr. Pate, are you homeless?
Yes, I was at the time, and I caught COVID.
Okay. Do you have some place to stay now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What's the recommendation?
Your Honor, probation recommends that 30 days be revoked, suspend the balance, close the case. He's been in jail since September 1st.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Pate, you're going through some pretty hard time, and I get it. But Mr. Pate, you might want to drop in on an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, because when you can't stay away from alcohol long enough to avoid going to jail, if that's not incentive enough for you to not drink, then that means you need that alcohol, that it is a crutch for you either emotionally or physically. And so drop in on an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. They have them everywhere. They have them at churches, they have them at libraries, they have them everywhere, so that people can share their experiences with fighting addiction and maybe come to a resolution and get back on track in life. How old are you, sir?
I'm gonna be 55 in November.
Sir, life is so good at this age. I'm telling you. Trust me, I ain't telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. But you got to get to that point where alcohol is not controlling you. Okay.
I understand.
All right. So just do that for me. Check. You just go to one. Okay. So if you go to that first one, it might be enough to encourage you to come to some more of them.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right. So I'm going to accept the recommendation. So I'll give you credit for time served. All right, sir, I'm going to suspend as long as you have no new violations. We know that you have the one that's coming up, but I'm not counting that one. And then as long as you don't have any new violations after we deal with that one, then your case will be closed, okay? Mr. Pate, you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Anything else, Ms. Hahn?
No, Your Honor.
All righty. All right, so you can go back with the sheriff's office. All right, you can go ahead to probation. And Mr. Stein, you have Mr. Lopeman.
Yes, he's here.
All right.
Judge, I have an announcement in that case.
Okay.
So Judge, I filed a motion to withdraw with consent. I'm not sure if the clerk has scanned it, but I did file it this morning.
You did what now?
I did file the motion to withdraw this morning and gave it to the clerk. So I'm not sure if it's on the system yet or not.
Motion to withdraw from Mr. Lopeman's case?
Yes.
So you don't want to represent him? Y'all don't have a plea worked out?
Well, he wants me to withdraw as his lawyer, Judge.
Okay, what's going on, Mr. Lopeman? This is a 2021 case. I'm going through all my old cases, and we either gonna plea them or try them. So if you want to jump on my trial calendar, we're gonna be ready, but I'm not waiting for you to get another lawyer. You're gonna have to do that in the space between the time we talk today and the time I call you.
I understand, Your Honor. I really don't want to take a trial. I really just like to submit what I've been trying to submit for 2.5 years to the prosecution. Like, I really don't feel that my attorney submitted any of my rehabilitation I did, the DUI classes.
I don't care about all that. If you would DUI on the date of this incident, then that's not going to keep you from getting a DUI. All that rehabilitation stuff, that only helps on the back end. Once I sentence you during probation, some of that might get considered, some of it may not, because a lot of people Google programs, and those are not court accepted programs. I don't care what somebody on the internet is telling you. If it hasn't been approved for use at the court, then all your rehabilitating, that ain't gonna A, keep you from getting a DUI conviction, and B, it's not gonna help unless it's something I would have approved anyway. If you were DUI on the date that this happened, then that's DUI. I don't care if you fixed it later. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Because that on that date, you could have killed somebody. That's all I care about. Now, can we move on? You still want to get rid of Mr. Stein?
What's the plea that you want to plead guilty to?
Y'all talk, and I'll move on to something else. And then y'all, when y'all come back, let me know.
That's what you want to do? Yeah. Judge, he says he wants to do the negotiated plea in the case.
Okay. All right, Mr. Loatman, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes.
All right, you can put your hand down. You're before the court on 2021 CR 08570 for 1 count of traffic violation, 1 count of DUI, 1 count of a highway violation, and count 3 obstruction of an officer. Mr. Stein, how does your client plead to the offenses before the court?
Judge, he's pleading guilty to count 1, count 2, count 3, and as I understand it, count 4 is being now processed by the state.
All right. So by entering a plea of guilty to counts 1, 2, and 3, sir, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to present evidence and testimony on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself. You give up the right, and if you are not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On July 9th of 2021, while an officer was on duty at Georgia 139 and Phoenix Boulevard, where this didn't occur in Clayton County, the officer observed a vehicle being operated by the defendant, Mr. Loatman, make a right turn driving in the Gore, additionally through a traffic signal that was red where the sign was posted not to do so. The officer initiated a traffic stop and made contact with the defendant, Mr. Loatman. At that time, the officer could smell a strong odor of alcoholic beverage coming from his vehicle. At that time, the officer asked, that he exit the vehicle. He asked if the defendant had drank any alcohol. He advised that he had not drank any alcohol, but that he also asked if he performed field sobriety. He agreed. He performed poorly on the HGN walk and turn and 1 leg stand. That time, the defendant was taken into custody. That was read implied consent. Initially, he agreed, but once he got to the jail, he refused. The state is recommending for count 1, $100 fine, count 2, 12 months probation, 40 hours of community service, $500 fine, risk reduction program, drug and alcohol evaluation and follow-up treatment, no drugs or alcohol, random screening and testing. And for count 3, a $100 fine, count 4 would be no problem.
All right. Anything on behalf of your client, Mr. Stein?
Judge, I believe the negotiations were to suspend the fine on count 3, and otherwise we concur and we're asking for the affidavit of first conviction.
All right.
You say suspended, that's fine, Your Honor.
Okay, so the affidavit of first conviction is approved, and you can get that at the clerk's office. Count 1, it's $100 fine. That'll be $151.50 with the surcharges. Count 2 is 12 months probation, 40 hours of community service, a $500 fine, which with the surcharges and elevated for DUI is going to be closer to $1,000. 40 hours of community service. I said that already. Risk reduction course, substance abuse evaluation, any treatment that they order, no alcohol or illicit drugs during the course of your probation, and you're subject to random screens for alcohol and drugs. And count 3 is a $100 fine that's suspended. So count 1 will run concurrent with count 2. So during the 12 months probation, you can also pay that. And count 3 will run concurrent with count 2. Mr. Lopeman, I'm going to trust that this experience has left you understanding that the DUI is not the thing to do. To put somebody else's life in jeopardy or your life in jeopardy is not what you need to be doing. And if you wish to celebrate or do anything you want to do after these 12 months is over, you need to either do it at home or do it knowing that you have a designated driver, whether it's somebody you pay or whether it's somebody you have decided to ask to drive you. Are we clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so when you exit the courtroom, you're going to go left to the courtroom 301, go through the first set of double doors. Mr. Carmichael is in that office. He's going to get you signed up for probation. Please make sure that you report as directed, because if not, that's the quickest way to get rearrested. And ask your probation officer about any thing if you're having any issues completing any of these. Okay?
Yes,
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Sure, Mr. Stein.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Mosley, Mr. White is here. Raise your right hand for me. Oh, where's Miss Janvier? Is she in the courtroom? She ready? Okay, I see her.
I see
Raise
her,
your
Your
right
Honor.
hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true, Mr. Mosley.
I do.
All right, you can put your hand down. Mr. Mosley, you're before the court on 2021 CR 08978 for Michael Mendel Mosley. You're charged with marijuana 1 ounce or less. Mr. Mosley, where'd you go?
I'm here. I'm sorry. Your Honor.
I gotta be able to see you. 1 ounce marijuana, 1 ounce or less, driving on a suspended or revoked license, no license, and defective equipment. Mr. White, Justin White is your attorney. Mr. White, what does your client plead to the offenses before the court?
Your Honor, he's going to be pleading nolo to no license, other charges to be no cross, Your Honor.
All right. By entering a plea of nolo to count 3, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And Mr. Mosley, if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, factual basis recommendation, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On June 26th of 2021, while an officer was on duty of Forest Parkway, where the incident occurred in Clayton County, the officer observed the defendant, Mr. Mosley, operating a motor vehicle without a headlight. A traffic stop was initiated and contact was made with the defendant, and it was determined that he did not have a valid license. The state is recommending to no pros counts 1, 2, and 4. Count 3 will be a $500 fine.
All right. Mr. Mosley, how old are you? Unmute, sir.
26, Your Honor.
Mr. Mosley, why we can't pay $40 and get a license instead of having to pay $737.50?
As I stated to my attorney, I do have my license. I've been having them going on 2 years now with no confrontation.
Okay, so you got it since that happened.
Excuse me, beg your pardon.
You got it since this case.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the NOLO plea is going to make sure you keep it and you don't have to go through a suspension. All right. So I'm asking this because I see so many people with no license charges, and I'm like, it's $40 or less and a couple of maybe an hour to stand in line. But I got so many people, and they'll say to me, well, I was just driving my grandmama to the doctor. Yeah. Well, you were driving her illegally. I don't understand why folk won't spend $40 instead of $737.50 or more. But
that's right.
You helping me understand, Mr. Mosley. People don't do stuff that makes sense. So, Mr. Mosley, I'm going to accept your plea of NOLO to count 3. Counts 1, 2, and 4 will be no pros. I'll sentence you to pay a fine in the amount of $500. That'll be $737.50 with the surcharges. Mr. White, does your client need more than 60 days?
Your Honor, he needs 90 days.
No,
All
it's
right.
oh yeah.
It's what?
I was about to tell, but I had already spoken with Mr. White that I would do it in 90 days. I was about to reframe it to 60 days. So
Okay.
I'm
Well,
sorry,
Mr.
Mr. White.
Olson,
Probably.
let me give you 90 days because I don't want any problems. Because if you fail to pay it within the time, then an arrest warrant will issue, and you don't need that kind of heat, right?
Oh, ma'am.
Okay, so let's go ahead and make sure we get it paid within the 90 days. Mr. White, do you have his email address?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, if you can send that to Miss Halcomb, and then we'll go ahead and get that taken care of. Now, Mr. Mosley, when you get the email address, the email from the court, it's going to tell you you can come in and pay in person on the second floor of the Justice Center, or you can pay online or by phone. But if you're going to pay online or by phone, you got to pay the entire thing. You can make partial payments if you're coming in person, okay?
Okay.
All right, you're free to go at this time. Thank you, Mr. Mosley, and please be safe.
Appreciate that. Happy holidays to you all.
No problem. Ms. Hahn, you have any other announcements?
Your Honor, I do need a breakout room for Thomas Gervain.
Okay. Childs and Davis, do you have announcements on those?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I have them listed as both your cases.
Childs, Your Honor, that was the one. I also need to still speak with Miss Davis. But Childs, that's the one where we had I guess a
Oh, okay, that's where he wants to represent himself and y'all have a conflict.
Yes, sure. I wasn't sure if Your Honor had made a ruling.
Well, he didn't tell me whether he wanted new counsel. He keeps asking me for something I can't do.
Okay.
Miss Janvier.
Yes, ma'am.
So it seems Mr. Childs, who has 2 battery cases pending, not 2 battery offenses, 2 separate cases pending, has asked the court to dismiss everything because they cool, they good now. Is the state inclined to dismiss the cases?
No, Your Honor.
I didn't think so. So Mr. Childs, you want a new attorney or you want to represent yourself, sir?
I'm not guilty, Your Honor. So I need.
That's not what I asked you. I want you to focus on what I'm asking you, because if you don't focus what I'm asking you, you're going to do horribly at trial. What I'm asking you is, do you need another attorney?
I need some help here. That's what I'm talking about. I need help because apparently y'all giving it to you short, simple, and straight to the point. Y'all trying to take me all the way around. So I need some help because I'm telling you, I'm not guilty. I'm innocent.
Okay. The whole point of a not guilty plea is if you want to prove that, if you want to go to trial and have the state prove the case against you, that's fine. What I'm offering you is some help with that. So if you want an attorney, I need you to answer the question I'm asking you.
I need some help to get out of this.
Okay, then you're still not answering the question. I'm asking you, do you want me to appoint another attorney?
Situation dismissed. So
That's a yes or no, Mr. Childs. We're not dismissing nothing.
That's everything saying I need help, Your Honor, because I can't help myself apparently, and my family can't even help me. And they're the one.
Okay, Mr. Childs. Mr. Childs, stop talking. You're doing too much. It's a yes or no. Do you want an attorney?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, he wants an attorney. That's where we're leaving it. Ms. Val, if you could simplify this thing, and please let's just get Mr. Childs another attorney. One who can help him with trial, because he won't answer a straight question to help himself.
I say yes plenty of times.
All right. No, you keep talking, Mr. Childs. Mr. Childs, at this time, you're free to go. Make sure that your address is correct with the court. If you need to stop by the first floor to the state court clerk's office, make sure that you have the right address. An attorney is going to contact you once we get a new attorney appointed. All right, you're free to go at this time. Do not have any contact with the person listed on your bond conditions, because if you do, you'll pick up a felony this time. You got 2 cases pending. Bless his heart. All right, do we have an announcement on Davis? You said you still need to talk to Davis. Click on that name you want, courtroom 304, and it should bring up a chat box.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. All right, so as we, each of the attorneys has a lot of people to speak with, ladies and gentlemen, so be patient, but they're coming to you as we're going down the list. Ms. Hahn is working on a lot of cases in the courtroom, so she's going to be able to make a big announcement soon.
Your Honor,
Yes,
I do
ma'am.
have one announcement.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Childs, so two things. One, we discovered a conflict, and then two, he said that he wanted to be pro se anyways, like from the beginning. So I'm not sure how we ended up entering a plea with him. However, he did explain to me that he would like to represent himself.
Mr. Childs? Where's Mr. Childs? So, Mr. Childs, you say you want to represent yourself on a battery family violence case.
Yes, everyone represents.
Okay, somebody's speaking in the background and you need to mute. Okay, go ahead again, Mr. Childs, what do you say?
I've been trying to represent myself since day one. Only reason why we couldn't dismiss this faster because we was doing like video call and during COVID, so they couldn't come to a courthouse and I was in jail. So that's only like prolonged. We were trying to finish this from.
Okay, so Mr. Childs, let me explain something. The reason you have an attorney is so you don't get yourself in more trouble. Listen to me carefully. Just listen, okay? I've been doing this a minute longer than you have. You got one case. I've had thousands. Listen to me. You saying no, you don't want to hear what I have to say.
I'm listening to you.
Okay, what I'm saying to you is, number one, if you're telling me the witness is not coming to court, then that suggests to me that you violated your bond conditions by talking. Listen to me now, hear me. Just hear what I'm saying and the reason why I don't like for a lot of people to represent themselves. If you want to do it, that's fine, but I caution you about it. And they allow us to caution you about it because it's such a big risk. Number one, if you tell me you know what the main witness is going to do, then that suggests to me that you've had contact with them. And if you have contact with somebody in violation of your bond conditions, your bond can be revoked. You can be charged with additional misdemeanors or felonies. Number one. Number two, when you represent yourself, if you represent yourself at trial, then there are certain rules to how you get evidence into the record of the court. You may have something that needs to come before the court, but it can't come before me because you don't know the rule about how to get it in.
We're not trying to play a game.
No, it's not a game. There are rules to what we do. And if you don't do it right, you may not be able to get it before the court.
Mr. Childs, don't talk while the judge is talking, please.
I have respect for you. Don't represent.
She hasn't allowed us to withdraw yet, so we do until she rules that way.
Right.
So I can let Ms. Hahn withdraw because she says there's a conflict, but if you want to go forward by yourself, I need to tell you that there's some risk with that. And I also need to tell you that if you were convicted, let me explain. Each of these cases can be punishable. Each of these charges can be punishable by up to 12 months in jail, a $5,000 fine, or both. And I could run each charge consecutive, which means you could get on the first case 2023 CR 02430, you could get 1, 2, 3, 4 years straight to serve. So maybe one of them would merge, so 3 years straight. The second one, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe one of them merges, you could get 2 to 3 years straight.
You're my judge. You're the one that's going to decide what's going to happen, correct?
Yeah, but not, wait, look, I decide if it's a bench warrant and I hear both. I mean, if it's a bench trial and I hear both sides. If it's a jury trial, the jury will decide, and I just decide on sentence.
You tell me that it's not a game. You tell me these rules, and see, that's what I'm saying. They tell me this one. All right. I'm telling you, everybody that's on the chessboard is here, ready to move. The queen is here. The king is here. We also have Bishop. She's ready to, everybody in position. They want to make their decision. You all are just in the way. The players are here. We're ready to speak on how we want to speak. I understand you saying this and that and this to step in, but we all, the charges want to be dropped. So it's like,
well, how you know? See, this is where you get into trouble, because how you know the victim wants the charge dropped? Because that means you've been communicating with them.
I'm not saying, ma'am, that doesn't matter.
It does matter.
Listen,
If you
because
violate a court order, it matters.
anything, Your Honor. I
If you violate a court order, it matters.
look, listen, I didn't violate anything. I spent my time in jail
For the
and I was
record,
released.
Your Honor.
I didn't have a bun. I didn't bun.
Advise that I'm just asking Mr. Childs to not
All I'm
speak.
saying,
Hey, get me a copy of Mr. Childs' bond conditions on both his cases, please.
I didn't bun out, Your Honor.
Get me a copy of the bond conditions on both Mr. Childs' cases, please.
And even if let's say I burned it out, why are we still moving forward? The screen went black.
Because you don't get to make that decision, Mr. Childs.
I understand whoever makes the decision, people that you guys shouldn't even be able to make the decision. People that call the police, people that are involved, people that don't want the police involved anymore.
You know why we don't pay attention to that anymore? Because people used to get beat down, and then for various reasons they say, oh, please drop the charges because I need him to pay these bills, or I need him to do this, or I need him to do that. And then the police would drop the charges, and then that person would go back and beat them again. So that's why we don't let y'all resolve it. Because if you could have resolved it, you wouldn't be here in the first place. You wouldn't be charged with two charges, two cases of violence.
I just need common sense to play into this situation. I feel like anybody with common sense.
Common sense means you wouldn't have been charged with 2 counts of battery on 2 different cases.
Life is full of all of that, you know what I'm saying? But you still see through your mistake. So
okay, so to cut this short, I can appoint you another attorney, but the case is not being dismissed. I can appoint you another attorney if you want, but the case is not going to be dismissed.
I want to ask for this to be dismissed.
It's not going to be dismissed, I just said.
That's what I don't want to, ego to play a role. I know you have, authority.
Mr. Childs, what did I just say? I said no.
Mr. Childs, I'm about to press.
I said no. So do you want a jury trial or a bench trial? Let me know.
I don't understand y'all rules. I don't even understand the terminology. This is not my field. This is not my path.
Which is why you had an attorney, Mr. Childs, and I can give you another one.
I don't understand what's going on here. I don't know what a bench trial, I don't know what a trial. I just want to let this go.
It's not going. That's not going to happen.
We want y'all to stay out of our life.
Well, then somebody need to stop calling the police. That's not going to happen. So you got 2 cases, Mr. Childs. Do you need another attorney?
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Mr. Childs, yes or no? Do you need another attorney?
I need y'all to just let this situation go.
That's not happening. Do you need another attorney? Okay, go sit down, Mr. Childs.
But if this is going to
Deputy Jones, Mr. Childs may need some time behind the door because he keeps talking to me and I keep trying to tell him, go sit down somewhere. Today's not the day. Have a seat. Thank you. All right, next, for somebody who wants to be helped.
Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. White.
Your Honor, Mr. Phillips, I'm gonna look into that issue that his father talked about earlier. For right now, we're just gonna announce ready with the potential that doesn't end up going to trial.
All right, so Mr. Phillips, I'm going to put you down for trial. Please keep in touch with Mr. White so that you don't miss another court date, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I will.
All right. All right, you're free to go at this time.
Thank
you. The state's not back.
All right. Who else, Mr. White?
Just Miss Steen.
Okay. And then I have Williams also. So I'll put you in with Miss Steen and then you can speak with Mr. Dontarius Williams.
Is he okay?
He's on video.
Oh, okay.
Miss Steen, I'm putting you in breakout room number 2.
Oh, there he is.
Well, all right. Thanks for joining in, everyone. I appreciate you being here and stay tuned. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified the next time I upload a new one. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and you will be notified the next time I upload a video. If you enjoyed this video, please take time to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and it'll also notify you the next time I upload a new video. And if you did enjoy my video today, if you would please like and subscribe. And by doing so, you'll be notified the next time I upload a new one. Thanks again. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy New Year. God bless.